Hi, this is Chris Straub, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Morel lifters and their history in this industry and how they got into making lifters and stuff. There's that stuff. So, met Ed Morel back in the late 90s when I was working for a company. Ed actually got in the lifter business when his Uncle Joe, owned the company, and they were approached by a professional engine team, and they were building Buick IRL motors for the Buick Indy team. And at that time, they weren't having lifter issues to say, but if they did have a lifter issue, they would lose a complete engine. And I'm told back then, late 80s, that an IRL Buick V6 was about $250,000. I think today they're well over a $10 million engine. So Morel set to work, and the patent can be looked up, and actually we'll go ahead and put it on the video so you can reference it. But so they started working on a bushed, or what they called a sleeved lifter, as far as what the patent says. And so they got rid of the needle bearings in the lifter and went to a sleeve system. And this was used successfully. I think it was patent on it, I think is 1992. I think they started on it in the late 80s and stuff. And back then there was no such thing as spintrons or anything like that. So Ed tells a story as, you know, they had a shipping container and a 100-horse electric motor. And I mean, basically they would come in, it was probably really rudimentary as far as testing these things, but they would just spin these engines until something came apart. And the last recipe, it just kept running and running and running and stuff. So that was the birth of the bushing lifter. So actually, when you think about it, so their deal was, it wasn't that they were going to stop anything from failing, because listen, we're in the high performance industry. As soon as any of these engines are first started, you just pull the pin out of that grenade. It's going to go at some point in time. But what the bushing lifter would do is it would slowly fail over a period of time. The valve train would get noisy, and it was basically like a light or a bell going off saying, hey, I'm in failure mode, get me out of here, and the whole bit. So that was the reason for a bushing lifter and stuff. So that got them in the lifter business. And when they met John Callies and Ed Morel formed a relationship, they started looking at other avenues as far as building lifters. So we've got their hydraulic series, and we just feature these in our V6 stuff. This lifter has come from a swedged axle design, which is what most OEMs and most of the aftermarket, when you've got a 700 wheel skirted type lifter. And when I talk about a skirted lifter, that means you can barely see the wheel. When you look at it from the side, there's no area here cut out. There's no forks going down or anything like that. This is what the OEMs use. But now if you look at a Morel and you compare that to any other 700 wheel lifter, you'll look in there and you'll see an axle and you'll see a wire lock. Well, this is a floating axle. So they're the only 700 wheel lifter company that features a floating axle. And what that does is it doesn't constantly load that axle in the same location every time. Those of you that know floating piston pins, press piston pins, we all know that a high performance application engine is going to have a floating piston pin. Well, this is no different. So that axle in there actually can move somewhat, and those wire locks hold that axle in place. Any high-end type lifter is going to have that. Swedging is when you come in from either end, you actually distort the ends of the wheel and you press it so it actually forms and rolls the material in there and holds it in the body that way. Well, you'll see in some applications, if the valve train gets out of control due to a heavy right foot, it can actually vibrate that axle to the point where it comes out and can damage the engine and stuff. Morel then, as far as their Ultra Pro style lifter, they came out with this in the late 90s, and it's had an evolution as far as the design on it. It used to be a straight cut across the top of this. Well, anybody knows that when you've got a 90-degree angle type deal, you're setting yourself up for a stress point that can crack and fracture. So what Morel did starting in the early 2000s, they went to a skirted wheel. And what that means is this area right here is not straight across. It actually is contoured and follows the wheel area here. Well, you're getting rid of that 90 degree. So what you're doing is increasing the strength of this. This is especially important on the 842 body stuff that goes in the Chevrolet and stuff, because you don't have that body diameter. So it helps with that. So, but to do this, you're not plunge milling. So you'll look at other lifter brands and it'll be straight across the top. Well, that's because they can sit that piece in the milling machine and they can take an end mill and go across there, and they can make that part and finish that body in seconds. Where with this, it's a much more intricate deal, and you have to contour the body inside there to fit the wheel. So there's much more machining process that goes into something like this. The other thing too, Morel has done on the Ultra Pros, on the 842 stuff, is put this strut right in the center. And if you look through there, you can't see all the way through that lifter, okay? This lifter, it has a strut too. So what they've done is underneath that pushrod seat, you lose some of that material. So you'll look at some lifters that are designed like this, and the oil transfer hole through the body, you'll be able to see all the way straight through, okay? Not on a Morel, on an 842. That strut is in there to help give integrity and help support underneath that pushrod seat. Again, this takes much more extensive milling on the milling machine, much more time. Any of you all that understand manufacturing know that time is money. So the longer the part's on there, the longer it's going to take to make it and the more expensive. The other thing too is when you're looking at a Morel Ultra Pro, it is a pressure-fed oiling lifter. Now, some brands just have a hole over the top of the axle, okay? Morel actually has an oil port. When you look down on the side of the lifter, you'll see that there's a small oil hole in each of the body of the lifter, and it actually has an oil circuit to the axle. So that's how they oil. So it's constantly in this oiling type deal. It's not down here above the wheel. Last but not least, Morel is a Tier 2 suppliers, so they supply Tier 1s. So they contract manufacture for multiple large companies, and we're not talking hundreds of parts, we're talking millions of parts. This technology that the Mamba shares is a project they did many, many years ago, but there is no bushing in this, and there's just an axle and a wheel. You're like, wait a minute, Chris, you just said they invented the bushing lifter. Well, yeah, that was almost 40 years ago. Technology's brought us to, so now we just have an axle, and they have the largest axle in the industry. This is a 0.47 diameter, so almost a half-inch diameter axle. The industry standard is 312, so that's a 5/16 axle. So this thing's almost 30% larger than a standard axle in the industry. So this is a proprietary material, and this actually has an oil circuit in this axle to the wheel. So this does have a break-in period. The Black Mambas do require a 20-minute break-in period because there's a dry film lubricant that they use on the wheel and the axle and stuff. So that has to lap in over time with the engine running and stuff with oil flow. You do not want to restrict this lifter. Just like the 842 Chevrolet, the Black Mambas also share that strut. What's that black coating on there? Well, that's DLC coating. So this is a process that gives this lifter the ability with extreme wear resistance. So these high lift camshafts or anything like that that we run today type deal, this lifter is almost bulletproof when it comes to any wear and stuff. And you'll pull lifters out, you'll see scuffing on the body or anything like that. You're not going to see this on a DLC coated type lifter. So again, this is the Black Mamba technology, and this is only owned by Morel as far as that axle and stuff goes. Now, the other thing I want to address while I got your attention today is Morel's availability and some of the negative press that Morel gets. Well, like I said, Morel is a Tier 2 supplier, always have been. The company is almost 8 decades old, and I ask any of y'all, if you're going to order your new HD 2500, your Ram 3500, your F250 type deal, and you've been in business 30 or 40 years and stuff, do you call Ford, Chevy, or Chrysler and order that truck, or do you have to go through a dealer? Well, Morel has followed suit with the way the OEMs do, and you have to go through a dealer. So there's authorized dealers of us that buy direct from Morel, and we distribute the product among the masses, whether it be a machine shop, whether it be an individual, whether it be an engine builder, a guy that's got a backyard garage that does some engine assembly and stuff. So that's how it's set up. This allows better quality control on the product. It allows for better technical support and a whole bit because they don't have the staff and ability to do that. And with educated, limited amount of dealers that we have, we're able to give the customer better tech support in that. So that's the reason Morel only has a few of us that buy direct, and the reason that they're set up that way. It's just based on the old way that OEMs set up, and they go through a dealer network. So you're just buying through a dealer network. But quality product, they would not have the customer base that they do. The race teams, I know of one race team, very well known in this industry. They've been running Morel's product since 2005. And when you've got the kind of budgets and the engineering staff and the availability that they do and access to technology, you don't keep a customer like that unless you build a good quality product. So if you got any questions, call any Morel dealer out there that you deal with. Ask them anything you want to need. And if you need anything from us, feel free to call Straub Technologies. Even if you didn't buy the lifter from us, we'll be more than glad to help you with any tech support or anything, questions, answers that you might need on the product line. And again, remember, at Straub Technologies, we don't build engines, we build combinations.